Lindan, born October 14, 1983, is a Chinese former professional badminton player. He is a two-time Olympic champion, five-time world champion, as well as a six-time All-England champion, widely regarded as the greatest badminton player of all time. By the age of 28, Lin had completed the Super Grand Slam, having won what some consider to be the 9 major titles in the badminton world: Olympic Games, World Championships, World Cup, Thomas Cup, Superdan Cup, Super Series Masters Finals, All England Open, Asian Games, and Asian Championships, becoming the first and only player to achieve this feat. He also became the first men's singles player to retain the Olympic gold medal by winning in 2008 and successfully defending his title in 2012. In 2004, he was dubbed Superdan by opponent Peter Gade after winning the All England Open final, and the nickname has since been widely used by his fans as well as the media to refer to him, in recognition of his achievements. 2001 to 2003, 2001 marked the start of then 18-year-old Lin's professional career. In his first final, at the Asian Badminton Championships, he was thrashed by compatriot Yao Xuans. In 2002, Lin took his first title at the Korea Open. He was a member of China's 2002 Thomas Cup squad, which defeated Sweden 5-0, Denmark 3-2, and South Korea 4-1 to reach the semi-finals. However, Lin didn't play in the semi-final tie against Malaysia, which saw China's team tumble to a 1-3 defeat. Lin participated in another 4 tournaments without coming close to victory. He was knocked out in the first round of the Singapore and Indonesia Opens, second round of the Denmark Open, and third round of the China Open. In October, Lin was defeated in the semi-finals of the Asian Games team competition, which ended China's hope of a team gold medal. 2004, Lin had a good start to 2004, earning the BWF's #1 world ranking for the first time in February. He helped China win the qualifying round of Thomas Cup and then captured the Swiss Open. He won his first ever All England Open title by beating Peter Gade in the final. He reached the semi-final of the Japan Open before going off to Jakarta, Indonesia in May for the Thomas Cup campaign. In Thomas Cup, Lin helped China to an excellent start in which they thrashed United States and defending champion Indonesia 5-0 respectively to enter the quarterfinals. Lin then defeated Shoji Sato and Lee Hyun-il in quarterfinal and semi-final ties against Japan and South Korea respectively, each ending in 3-0 wins for China. In the final, he beat Peter Gade in straight games to give China the lead before the Chinese team eventually won 3 matches to 1. China thus took the crown, ending a 14-year drought in the tournament. 2005, Lin retained his #1 world ranking during 2005, winning his second German and Hong Kong Open titles, as well as the Japan Open, China Masters, and World Cup tournaments. He also helped China recapture the Superdan Cup, combined men's and women's team championship, when it shut out both defending champion South Korea in the semi-finals and Indonesia in the final. Lin failed to retain his All England title, losing a 3-set final to teammate Chen Hong, and he was beaten in the final of the Malaysia Open by another rising star, Lee Chong-wei. In his bid to capture his first BWF world title at Anaheim, California, he beat Kenneth Asuncion, Shoji Sato, Lee Hyun-il, and Peter Gade in succession to reach the final. There he was decisively beaten by a peak form Tawfiq Hidayat. 2006, Lin started the season by reaching the semi-finals of the German Open, and had a same result in China Masters and China Open. He failed to win the Malaysia Open in June, which saw his opponent Lee Chong-wei produce a superb display to save the title after being 13-20 down in the deciding game, and also lost to Tawfiq Hidayat in Asian Games final. However, he won 6 individual titles in the season. Here he captured the All England Open, and won the Chinese Taipei, Macau, Hong Kong, and Japan Opens. Most significantly, in Madrid, Spain that September he won his first world title after beating his compatriot Bao Chuanlai in the final. In May, Lin and his teammates had extended China's Thomas Cup reign by shutting out Denmark 3-0 for a second consecutive title. 2007, Lindan entered 2007 with a loss to South Korea's Park Sung-hwan in the round of 16 at the Malaysia Open. A week later he captured the Korea Open by defeating Chinese teammate Chen Jin in the final. He went on to win the German Open and then the All England Championships again, crushing compatriot Chen Yu 21-13, 21-12. In June, Lindan was part of the Chinese Superdan Cup team that retained the cup after beating Indonesia 3-0 in the final at Glasgow, Scotland. Later in the season, Lindan defeated Wang Chunhan of Malaysia and became the China Masters champion for 2007. In August, Lindan extended his reign as the world champion when he beat Indonesia's Sony Dwi Kuncoro 21-11, 22-20 in the final of the tournament held in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Lindan thus became the first man since Yang Yan to win back-to-back world championships. 2008. On April 10, 2008, Lin was involved in yet another controversy when he struck coach Ji Jinping in front of his teammates and the media during an intra-squad tournament prior to the Thomas Cup. The incident was allegedly triggered by his unhappiness with Ji's arrangement of the starting lineup for the tournament. Despite the episode, Lin proceeded to win each match he played in the Thomas Cup until China's semi-final clash with Malaysia when he lost rather tamely to Li Chongwei. However, China still managed to reach the final by edging Malaysia 3-2. Then retained the cup against South Korea with Lin's win at first singles helping China to a 3-1 victory. Lin won the Thailand Open, his last tournament before the 2008 Olympic Games. In the Beijing Olympic Games, he beat Hong Kong's Zheng Wei in the first round, Park Sung-hwan in the second round, and Peter Gade in the quarterfinals. He then beat his teammate Chen Jin in straight sets to set up a dream final against Li Chongwei. However, the final was a one-sided match as Lin demolished Li 21-12, 21-8, and became the first men's singles player to win the Olympic gold as a first seed. Not back in action until the China Open in November, Lin again beat Li in the final, before losing to Chen Jin once again in the Hong Kong Open. Lin was eligible to participate in the lucrative Masters finals in December, but due to the withdrawal of the whole Chinese contingent, citing weariness and injuries, he didn't take part in the tournament. 2009. In March, at his first tournament appearance of 2009, Lin won his fourth All-England title without dropping a game, defeating Li Chongwei in the final. After this dominant performance, he lost to Li in the final of Swiss Open a week later. In May, Lin participated in the Sudirman Cup helping China to consecutive 5-0 victories over England, Japan, and Indonesia. In the semi-finals against Malaysia, Lin defeated Li Chongwei in straight games as China advanced to the final against South Korea with another shutout. In the last round the same form held true as Lin beat Park Sung-hwan, thus helping China to secure the cup for the third time in a row, and each time without dropping a match in the series. During the rest of 2009 Lin dropped only 2 matches. In June in the quarterfinals of the Indonesian Open, and, perhaps most surprisingly, in the finals of December's East Asian Games in Hong Kong to South Korea's little-known Choi Ho-jin. Aside from those upsets, Lin dominated. In August in Hyderabad he became the first player to win the World Championships 3 times by beating compatriot Chen Jin in the final. Later Dan would go on to win his 4th China Masters title and 1st French Open title. He ended his tournament winning streak in November with the China Open title before the late-year upset loss in Hong Kong. 2010. Taking part in his 5th Thomas Cup campaign for China in May, Lin won a pair of hard-fought encounters with South Korea's Park Sung-hwan in the group ties and the quarterfinals respectively. In the semi-finals, he handily defeated Li Chongwei in contributing to China's 3-0 victory over Malaysia and a berth in the final against longtime rival Indonesia. Here, Lin led off with a comfortable victory over familiar opponent Taufik Hidayat, as China went on to capture its 8th men's world team title, its 4th consecutively. After the Thomas Cup triumph, Lin played in the World Championships in Paris, France. He won his opening match and then beat Henry Herskanen and Bao Chuanlai in the second and third rounds respectively before being upset by Park Sung-hwan in the quarterfinals. That day also saw his arch-rival Li Chongwei exit from the tournament, which was eventually won by Lin's compatriot Chen Jin. Lin then bounced back to win the China Masters, but lost the final of the Japan Open to Li Chongwei the following week, and conceded walkovers in the quarterfinals of both the China Open and Hong Kong Open late in the year. However, Lin managed to win his first ever Asian Games gold medal in November by beating Li Chongwei in final, thus, at 27, becoming the first player to win all of the present major titles available to Asian men in badminton, both individual and national team. Lin was voted the most valuable player, MVP, at the game's closing ceremony. 2011. Lin began the year with a withdrawal in the Malaysia Open's quarterfinals, which marked his 3rd consecutive withdrawal since late 2010. This action brought some criticism, particularly by well-known fellow competitor Taufik Hidayat. The very next week Lin sprang back to win the first ever $1 million badminton tournament, Korea Open, by beating Li Chongwei in the final. He next won the German Open, beating his compatriot and reigning world champion Chen Jin in the final. At the prestigious All England Championships in March, his hopes for a fifth title were put on hold when he was defeated by Li Chongwei in the final. However, in April he won his second Asian Championships on a day which saw China sweep all 5 titles, and in May he helped China to a 4th consecutive Superdan Cup title by defeating Denmark 3-0 in the final. In June, Lin's withdrawal from the Singapore Open final due to gastric flu drew jeers from fans in the stadium. Just few days later, he was upset by Sho Sasaki in the second round of Indonesian Open. Healthy again in August, Lin won his 4th World Championship title by beating familiar rivals Peter Gade in the semi-final and Li Chongwei in a very tight 3-game final at Wembley Arena, a venue which would host the badminton competition for 2012 Summer Olympics. 2012, Lin started the year by losing to Li Chongwei in the final of the Korea Open, and then losing in the second round of the Malaysia Open to Denmark's Jan-O Jorgensen. In early March he took his first title of the season by winning his 5th German Open. The very next week he won his 5th All England Open title as rival Li Chongwei was forced to retire in discomfort early in the second game of the final. In April, Lin was again the subject of some controversy when he withdrew from the semi-finals of the Badminton Asia Championships, a move that was openly seen as a ploy to secure an Olympic berth for his compatriot Chen Jin. At the 2012 Summer Olympics in London, Lin routinely beat Ireland's Scott Evans to qualify for the main draw of 16 players, where he started by trouncing fading star Tawfiq Hidayat. In the quarterfinals, however, Japan's hard-fighting Sho Sasaki put Lin to the test before yielding 16-21 in the third game. Lin then handily beat South Korean veteran Lee Hyun-il in the semi-finals to set up yet another meeting with his chief rival Li Chongwei. Unlike the 2008 Olympic final, this one was no cakewalk for Lin. He lost the first game to Lee but came back strongly to take the second. The rubber game was a thriller which saw Lin claw back from slight deficits most of the way to finally prevail 21-19, and ecstatic Lin thus became the first men's singles player to retain the Olympic title, while Lee, now almost 30, was once again foiled at one of the sport's 2 biggest events, aside from the Thomas and Uber Cups: the Olympics and the World Championships. 2014, after 7-month tournament absence, Lin, down to 104th in the official world rankings, returned in April and took titles in the China Masters and the Badminton Asia Championships in quick succession. Lin was part of China's Thomas Cup team which defended its title in May, but because of his deflated ranking could only play at third singles. Consequently, when China met a talented and highly motivated Japanese team in the semi-finals at New Delhi, Lin could only watch helplessly as Japan took the first 2 singles and a doubles to break China's 10-year streak of men's world team titles. Beyond this disappointment, the BWF would not grant Lin a wildcard entry into the 2014 World Championships, as they did in 2013. Thus Lin could not defend his title, which was won by Chinese teammate Chen Long, who defeated the unlucky Li Chongwei in a close 2-game final. 2015, in April, Lin won the men's singles title at the Badminton Asia Championships in China, defending his title won the previous year in South Korea. He defeated compatriot Tian Ho-wei 21-19, 21-8 in a match that lasted 50 minutes in the central city of Wuhan. In May, Lindan contributed to China winning its 10th Superdan Cup by defeating Japan's Takuma Ueda 21-15, 21-13 in the final for his team's third and decisive point. His return to the World Championships in August, however, was not particularly auspicious, as he was routinely eliminated by Denmark's Jan-O Jorgensen in the quarterfinals, as Lin's compatriot Chen Long again prevailed over Li Chongwei in the finals. Recovering from this disappointment, in September Lin won his only Super Series title of the year at the Japan Open, making a remarkable comeback after trailing 3-11 in the deciding game of the final against Denmark's young star Victor Axelsen. 2016, in April, Lindan beat world number 1 Chen Long in straight games to lift his 6th China Masters crown in Jiangsu, China. Here Lin showed his competitive mettle by coming from 11-16 behind in the second game to clinch the match 23-21. In June, however, he was stunned in second round of Indonesia Open by 18-year-old Jonathan Christie. At the 2016 Rio Summer Olympics, Lin sailed through his group round robin to qualify for the main draw. In the quarterfinals he was tested by India's Srikanth Kadambi, but pulled through 21-18 in the third game. This set up a semi-final confrontation with longtime rival Li Chongwei, which drew great fan interest as the players, both in their 30s, were assumed to be near retirement. In another epic match, Lee was finally able to reverse past Olympic and World Championship losses to Lin and prevailed, 15-21, 21-11, 22-20. But Lee's quest for Olympic gold after 2 silver medals ended with a disappointing finale, as he was beaten in 2 close games by Lin's compatriot Chen Long. In the bronze medal match, Lin played Denmark's Victor Axelsen. After taking the first set 21-15, the 2-time Olympic champion lost the next 2 and the match with a scoreline of 21-15, 10-21, 17-21. After the Rio Olympics, he skipped all international tournaments for the remainder of the year. 2017, in March, at the prestigious All England Championships, Lin defeated Victor Axelsen in the quarterfinals but was eliminated in the semi-finals by his countryman Shirayuchi, more than 12 years Lin's junior. However, he bounced back to win the Swiss Open by beating Shirayuchi in the finals. In April he won the Malaysia Open for the first time by defeating Lee Chong-wei, who had virtually owned this title for more than a decade. In the China Masters he lost in the semi-final to Xiaobin, and in the Badminton Asia Championship, where he recorded a semi-final win over Lee Chong-wei, he took a silver medal after losing to Chen Long in the final. Lin was beaten in the German Open and Indonesian Open respectively in round of 16. He lost to Chen Long in the Australian Open semi-finals. At the World Championships in Glasgow, Scotland, at age 33, Lin managed to reach a record 7th men's singles final by beating Hong Kong's Wang Wingqi, 21-17, 21-18 in the quarterfinals and beating Korea's Sun Wonho, 21-17, 21-14 in the semi-finals. But in the finals, he was beaten in straight sets by his 10 years younger opponent, Victor Axelsen of Denmark, 22-20, 21-16. 2018, in March, the 34-year-old Lin tied Rudy Hartondo's record of reaching 10 All England men's singles finals, but was foiled in his try for a 7th title by his much younger compatriot, Shirayuchi. In May he won the New Zealand Open by beating talented Indonesian youngster Jonathan Christie. Later that month Lin was a member of the Chinese team which regained the Thomas Cup after 4-year absence, though his team was never extended to a deciding 5th match which would have required his services in the 3rd singles position. 2019-2020, at 35, Lindan won his 2nd Malaysia Open title in 2019, beating higher-ranked compatriots Shirayuchi and Chen Long in the semi-finals and finals respectively. However, he withdrew from the Singapore Open during the first round against Victor Axelsen, citing a thigh injury, but only after being visibly upset by early line calls. In April, he lost in the semi-finals of the New Zealand Open to Ng Ka Long. In September, he lost in the finals of the Korea Masters tournament to Konta Tsunyama. On July 4, 2020, Lindan announced his retirement, saying at 37, "Pain and injuries no longer allow me to fight with my teammates. I have gratitude, a heavy heart and unwillingness." After his retirement, he joined Instagram to stay connected with his fans all over the world.